Welcome to November. We're beginning our second trimester. We're already here. So as we begin our second trimester, here are some things to look forward to. Okay, so first things first, these are some of the materials that you will need for this trimester. Now this trimester will go all the way to the end of December and beginning of January. So you need to make sure that you have these items so that you can participate in upcoming activities. The one thing I want to note here is that there will be an activity later on where a terrarium is recommended. A terrarium would be a small container with the moss, dirt, things that an animal would need, and then that animal. For example, I have a little frog that lives in a terrarium with my snails. However, you might also want to just use pictures like we do for some of the others. Anything that requires a specific group of photos or a specific outline, I will provide. So don't worry about that. Talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, friends, so this trimester we're going to be thinking a lot about the pond and bodies of water, and we're going to be thinking a lot about reptiles and fish and mammals and what happens in the winter. So we're going to be moving on to another nature journal that focuses on the pond. Feel free to continue working in the forest one. I'm going to provide a digital copy for this one so that you can print it when you would like to, and you don't have to worry about losing it or having to come get it. I will try to be exclusively to save trees on my end, sending digital copies of things this trimester. But please let me know if you have any questions or if something didn't get posted in a way that works for your computer. So, that being said, we have our Pond Nature Journal, which will take you through observations and lessons related to the flora and fauna you might find at the pond. I will also be providing for each week an activity and a story, and that's in addition to any read-alouds that I do. Now, all of the activities come from a program called Project WET, and I actually have the book. So Project WET is a really cool organization. I highly recommend you check them out. But I will be offering an activity each month. Now, as I've said, the activities I especially encourage my digital friends to do, but they're more often than not a rainy day activity. So maybe you're inside, or maybe you're looking for a little extra to do. And so it's going to be the name of the activity, the objective, the method, the materials you'll need, a little bit of background on it. And it's going to work through the procedure that you do, and it'll have any materials that you would print out. And it's just a fun extra thing to do. For my friends that I have in person, some of these activities will be activities that we do outside together, or we do as some of our investigation. But again, it is not required. It's just encouraged. So if some of these have materials that you need that I can't provide, feel free to either amend the activity or abstain from that one. It's really, truly just a chance for you to have more that you get to be doing. The joy of forest time is that there's just so much you can do with it. And if I could have all day to do it, I'd still have plenty I'd want to do. So taking the time for unstructured play out in the wild, taking the time to play maybe some structured games out in nature, and then also sharing these stories and taking time to be mindful and to be thankful for the environment. I encourage you to thank the trees, thank whatever materials you use. These are all important, and these actually connect to one of the overarching themes for November for this trimester as well, which is being grateful and mindful when it comes to nature and to our place in it, and also recognizing who's been here first and their stories. So we will be focusing a lot in November on Native Americans or Indigenous people. So with that, the stories that will be provided, you'll have at least one story for each week. This one is Turtle Races with Beaver, and they all come from a book called Keepers of the Animal, which is a collection of Native American stories spanning different tribes and different areas of North America. So for example, this story is from the Seneca tribe, and they are Eastern Woodland. So some of these stories have happy endings, some of these stories are a little more blunt. I will be discerning on my end, but I think that all of these stories are meant as teaching stories, and we will be using them and potential activities that come with them in conjunction with getting in touch with nature and appreciating our world. So connected to that, there will also be read-alouds provided that connect back on an ecological level and thinking about Project Wild with stewardship and our connection to nature and what we can learn about it. So for example, for the first, we're going to be looking at this activity, which is Graph Animal, which is about identifying characteristic life forms in two different environments, i.e. figuring out who lives there and what we know about them. And the story, Turtle Races with Beaver, connects as well to sort of pond life and wetlands, which we're going to be looking at, and home. And then we're going to be reading What Am I, Where Am I, which is sort of a really cool, succinct book that helps you sort of guess what an animal is and then where they might live, as well as just where they are in connection to each other. So we look forward to that. And we have a book called Beaver Pond, Moose Pond, which again connects us back to the pond and is almost poetic in nature. So I look forward to that. But so each week we'll have read-alouds, it will have a native story, it will have a Project Wild activity, and all of these are meant to sort of enhance forest time. The most important thing with forest time is that you are out in nature, and I will provide sort of encouragement for what you might do when you're out there, but just make sure that you're getting out there. Thank you, friends. I will check back in soon on Tinker as well, but I look forward to this trimester with all of you.